Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm here to talk to you guys today about Rh negative and what is it really? Is Rh negative Rhesus monkey blood? Rh negative has nothing to do with having or not having. Rh negative and positive has nothing to do with having or not having monkey blood. And I'm going to prove that today, and I'm going to also tell you why the gene is called Rhesus. So the Rhesus monkey is from East India, and we know that East India is East South Asia. So they're telling you that this gene originated in East South Asia. They're also telling you what the people look like who carried this gene by naming it after a monkey that's albino. So people who carry this gene is prevalently albino, prevalently Caucasian. Do black people carry this gene? Yes, and I would tell you why. I would tell you how black people carry this gene and what Rh negative really is. Rh negative means that you lack the D antigen on your genes. Rh positive means that you have this D antigen. Now, what is D antigen? The D antigen is vitamin D. So if you're Rh negative and you don't have vitamin D, what does this mean? Well, what happens is we have what is called an endocrine system, and this is tied to your 7 major organs. And that would be your lungs, heart, liver, kidneys. All of these things are tied to your endocrine system. And you can also refer to these as chakra points in your body, the 7 chakra points. These are the same thing. It's your endocrine system. Now, our endocrine system also is the pineal gland. And what we call that is the third eye. So the third eye, the pineal gland, is part of the endocrine system. Why is this important? Because the pineal gland needs vitamin D to create melatonin. What is melatonin? Melatonin is what the pineal gland secretes to help you be able to process information, and it also helps with the transfer of energy to create melanin. What is melanin? Melanin is what our body uses to create our pigment or color. So what is Rh negative? Rh negative is a gene that causes you to have a lack of vitamin D, that causes you to not be able to properly create melatonin that transfers into melanin to create a pigment for your skin. Caucasians are prevalent in Rh negative because they are black people or were black people who lack in vitamin D and ended up becoming albino. So Caucasians are originally black people who became albino. Is this supported? Yes, it's supported with the facts that I just gave you. It's also supported in your Bible. There was a tribe of people who had leprosy, and these people were called the Amorites, and they were a son of Canaan. Now, did all Canaan have leprosy? No, all Canaan did not have leprosy. Only the Amorites had leprosy. Was Canaan cursed? Yes, Canaan was cursed to slavery. And I'm going to tell you how this ties into us African Americans. The only people who carry this Rh negative gene is Israelites and Caucasians. Okay? Israelites and Caucasians. Okay? So the reason why Israelites carry this Rh negative gene And before I get into that, I want to tell y'all that Israelites and Caucasians, Canaan is East Asia. Yes, East Asia. So, and we know that Israel went to Canaan. Okay. But way even before this time, the Israelites were Rh negative, and I'm going to tell you why. Not to say that every Israelite is Rh negative, but you will have somebody in your family who is Rh negative. And this is how the Most High is telling us apart in these times and days. And I'm going to prove this to you. So I'm A positive, but my sister is Rh negative. And this is how I know that our family is part of the Israelite tribes, because our family carries that Rh negative gene. Simply because Abraham's father was Shemitic. He was from Shem, and Shem is the Asians. And you can look this up. You can do your facts. Don't deny this if you haven't done your research, because you can't deny this, because if you do your research, you're going to find this to be true, that Shem is the Asians. Shem is the Asians. But why are we Israelites? Because Abraham's mother was from Canaan. Abraham's mother was mixed with Amorite and Hittite. Ezekiel 16:3. Abraham's mother, your birth and your nativity is from the land of Canaan. Thy mother was an Amorite. Thy father was an Amorite, and thy mother was a Hittite. This was referring to Abraham's mother. His mother was mixed with Amorite and Hittite. So she was mixed with that Rh negative gene at that point, because her father was Amorite and her mother was Hittite. And this is Abraham's mother. So this is how the Rh negative gene was passed down to Abraham and to his descendants. So this is why the Israelites are Rh negative and Caucasians are Rh negative. The Caucasians are the Amorite tribe. The Most High said in Leviticus 14:34, I put leprosy in a house in Canaan. He said in a house. He's letting you know that all of Canaan did not have leprosy. Only 8 people in Canaan had leprosy, and that was the Amorites. This is also clarified in Judges 1 when they tell you the Amorites head down in the mountains. This is referring to the Caucasus Mountains. So the Caucasians had Dan in the mountains, and they mixed with the tribe of Dan again. So the tribe of Dan is not a brown-skinned people like the rest of the tribes. Your Asian mean that you would be Gentile, Japhet, and Asian, Shem. Afro-Asiatic mean that you are from Abraham's line, which is Shem and Ham. This is why the Most High added Ham to his name, because his mother was Hamitic and he was from Ham. So, and this ties into why the Israelites went into slavery, because Canaan was cursed to slavery. Canaan was cursed to be a servant. And this is in Genesis 9, I believe. Genesis 9. He was cursed to be a servant. He was not cursed with leprosy. He was cursed to be a servant. And Abraham's mother was a Canaanite, Horite. She was Amorite and Hittite. And this is why we went into slavery, because it was fulfilling the prophecy of that curse put on our people. Now, the Amorites they are a Canaanite tribe, but they were the only ones who had that leprosy. And they are who we call today Caucasians. Everybody with white skin is not a Caucasian, though. So please do not take what I'm saying that everybody with white skin is a Caucasian. No, Gentiles had white skin before the Caucasians. Caucasians developed that. Well, I won't say white skin. I'll probably say a lighter tone skin. Like, Gentiles do. They look tan and, all these colors. But they didn't have blonde hair and blue eyes. That's the gene that came with the Rh negative. original Gentiles from Japhet, they had brown hair and brown eyes. So yeah, so the Rh negative gene means that you lack vitamin D, which is needed for the process of melatonin being secreted from your pineal gland, which is needed for a transfer of information and also to transfer into melanin to create the pigment of your skin. So Rh negative doesn't mean that you have monkey blood, and it doesn't mean that you have original blood. It means that you have a defect in your body somewhere and you lack vitamin D. And this is why Caucasians, they wear sunscreen and stuff in the sun, because their body can't properly absorb the vitamin D from the sun. So this is why they drink milk as well, to make up for the vitamin D that they lack. See, our ancestors did not drink milk before we came here. That's something that we learned from the Caucasians, which are our people, but they had leprosy. That's something that we got from them because they had lacked in vitamin D. And milk has vitamin D. But see, we have melanin, so we can absorb the sun, which is our vitamin D. So I tell you, if you're Israelite and your family have Rh negative, then you need to get out in the sunlight and absorb some vitamin D, or take some vitamin D tablets, or whatever you can do to get more vitamin D. Caucasians, you need more vitamin D. We have a vitamin D deficiency. We have a vitamin D deficiency, and this is what Rh negative is. If you're Rh negative positive, you have a pure bloodline, because you have the bloodline of the people that were here before the defect came. So if you're Rh positive, then you don't have the lack of vitamin D. And if it's any Rh positive